Okay, so the Fountain of Youth. Right, this is the new action heist adventure from Guy Ritchie, written by James Vanderbilt. The film is produced by Ivan Atkinson, Richie Atkinson, David Ellison, Dana Goldberg, Don Granger, Jake Myers, Paul Neinstein, Guy Ritchie, William Sharek, James Vanderbilt, and Trip Vinson. It is executive produced by Chad Villela. Tyler Gillett, Tara Farney, Matt Bettinelli Olpin, with line production from Damian Anderson, Amira Ismail, Philly Norton, Fun Pestonji, Gerhard Rupp, Konstantin Steitz. It is co-produced by Max Keane, Siobhan Boys, Yep, that is it on that front. Christopher Benstead takes care of the music. Ed Wild is down with the cinematography. Right, James Herbert edits everything, with Daniel Hubbard. He was the one that sorted out all the casting. All right, production design is Martin John, Ire Bintas, Nick Blanche, Cynthia Boutros, Fiona Gavin, Anusun Musabuta, Heather Noble, and Oscar Pickering were on art direction. Pancho Chamorro is set decoration. Costume design, we have Lulu Bunteps. Hair and makeup and all of that jazz, we have Rosie Young, Leza Warner, Mona Turnbull, Emma Tamlin, Kelly Mitchell, Chloe Meddings, Scarlett McPherson, Miwoo Kim, Millie Claridge, Christine Blundell, Christina Andrew. Okie dokie. I think we just jump to our cast now. Okay, so we have got John Krasinski as Luke Perdue. His younger sister, Charlotte, is played by Natalie Portman. Charlotte's son, Thomas, is played by Benjamin Shivers. Okay, who else do we have? So, the rest of our thing, we have got, Luke's partners in crime. There is Patrick Murphy, played by Laz Alonso. Deb McCall, played by Carmen Igu. We have got Owen Carver, played by Donald Gleason. There's Esme, played by Isa Gonzalez. We've got Inspector Jamal Abbas, played by Ariane Moyad. The Elder, played by Stanley Tucci. Prager, played by Michael Epp. Kazim, played by Steve Tran. Harold, played by Daniel Day-Bouge. Harold's lawyer. Oh, yes. Harold also is Charlotte's ex-husband and Thomas's dad. His lawyer is played by Perdita Weeks. Agent Stevens, played by Russell Ballou. The head librarian is played by Ellie Condron. Professor Bishara, played by Anthony Bunez. That's probably our main group of people, okay? The gist of the film is two estranged siblings join forces to seek the legendary Fountain of Youth. Using historical clues, they embark on an epic quest filled with adventure. If successful, the mythical fountain could grant them immunity. Immortality. Yes, that's immortality, right? I mean, that's not really the reason they're on the search, right? The reason they're, it's down to Owen Carver. That's why they're on the search, right? And so we start off and we have Luke in Thailand trying to bring back a piece of art. Right, so we get this big chase sequence and everything, which, put together pretty well, Put together pretty well. So we have all of this. Then we meet Charlotte. Right, meet Charlotte. She's, in meetings with Harold and his lawyer, trying to do all the separating business, you get this, I want this, all of that, right? So we have all of this kind of stuff. So it's kind of setting, all our pieces on the table. Then we've got Charlotte and Luke reconnecting, right? And that obviously, goes into more shenanigans, right? It's a global adventure. We're all over the place. Let's say Thailand, London. We're in Egypt. Where else? I mean, I feel they go somewhere else. But yeah, all over the place. Right? And so we have these big set pieces. And especially in some of the searches, right? We got these big kind of landscapes and everything. It's, it's kind of epic. It's impressive on that front, right? But then you have all of these forces trying to stop this search. Now, does it work? That's the thing, right? That's the thing. And, this is very much dependent on what kind of films you enjoy, right? Because I think this is essentially what I thought it might be, right? It's not surprising, which, again, if you're a fan of this type of film, that's not a bad thing at all, right? So this, it kind of reminded me of the National Treasure films, right? Remind me of those. Also, stuff like Brendan Fraser's The Mummy series. Obviously, you've got Indiana Jones, you've got Tomb Raider. It's very much along those lines. You know what I mean? And then I think there was that series with Noah, I want to say Weil, but I think that might be wrong. The dude, he was in ER back in the day. I think the series was The Librarian, right? There was also that other one with Tia Carrera, something like that, right? Again, an archaeology type of situation. And they're all very similar, right? You've got people dropping quibs all over the place. Yeah, everyone's always, not taking things seriously. They've got one-liners up the kazoo, right? It's always that type of thing. But although they've got all of these, they can fight, right? They can fight off everyone, and they can always crack a code. And so Fountain of Youth, it follows that template, right? So yeah, if you like those kind of films, also you got like the Da Vinci Code and those films, right? If you enjoyed those, then I think Fountain of Youth works for you. For me, it just seemed like there was a few things, right? So we have got this whole situation between Charlotte and Harold, right? Thomas, the custody and everything. Felt like it didn't really need to be there, right? It doesn't really serve much of a purpose. Because you've got the thing being, right? There's a reference to, and it's not even a spoiler, right? That Harold cheated. Right? So there was infidelity, which is why the divorce is happening. But then it looks like he's basically wiping the floor with her. But why? Right? So we have all of that. And it's just like, okay. We also, we got these estranged siblings. Unless I miss something, we don't even know why they're estranged. You know? So it's just like, okay, so what's the deal with them? Because we don't really get a chemistry. Now, they're great actors, and the acting isn't bad or anything like that, but it's just not really a chemistry, It's just, you can predict everything. It's one of those ones where it's just like, hey, do you want to do this thing? No. But then they're doing the thing, right? So it's just all these interactions, they don't really mean anything, because at the end of the day the film is going in this direction, right? And all the no's and denials, they're going to be doing this thing. So yeah, so you have all of that. But then also, it takes away all the peril, because okay, they've got to get to this thing. They've got to get to this point. They'll be doing this thing. So there's no real danger, really. Right? No real danger. So yeah, that's the thing with a film like this. Something that always makes me laugh, and we see it all the time, right? They're on this adventure. They're going through like dusty cities and swamps and just all manner of different things like this. Clothes, no, not dirty, not messy, not ripped up. Right? At the end, you've got, I think on the poster, right? The poster for the film shows, John Krasinski's character Luke in a blue shirt, right? I mean, what Charlotte's wearing, you do kind of go, wait, why would you wear that for what you're doing? But anyway, the blue shirt, only at the very end is there any kind of like muss on it. You know? You just think when you see what that goes through, you're just like, how is it your clothes aren't dirty? Right? But that's always the big thing. It's not about the detail with these things. It's about the scale, right? Let's create a big adventure, a global adventure. We'll have chases, we'll have explosions, we'll have gunfights, we'll have all of this. But it's just, at times, if you scaled it down, right, and just concentrated on some of the detail, some of those relationships, I feel the film's gonna be better, right? Because you have these interactions with some characters, right? And it's kind of like these fights, which, I mean, you know the outcome of the fight, right? But the fight itself is like they're trying to kill each other. But then you have this thing where these characters then talk, and it's just like, oh yeah, I like you. And it's just like, wait, so why are you trying to kill them? Right? Like, obviously, there'd be another way to resolve it, a non-lethal, right? You could knock them out. You could, all manner of different things, but you try to kill them. So then it kind of makes the other parts of the film not make as much sense because of all of that. Right? And that's the thing. You have these criminals, and they don't seem to have any sort of surveillance in place. And you're just thinking, okay, if you're a big time criminal, surely you have sensors and cameras to warn you of things. Right? That would make sense. But it doesn't seem to be the thing. But as I said, going in this, it kind of, I wondered what it could be, right? But sometimes you can be surprised, right? Like with the family plan. It looked like it was going to be one thing, but an enjoyable little spy film. So you might have a thought, but you always go in with an open mind. And, Fountain of Youth turned out to be what I suspected. But as I said, if you enjoyed National Treasure, if you enjoyed the Mummy films, right, Tomb Raider, obviously Indiana Jones, just any of these films, and I would say probably the last few Indiana Jones as well. If you like the last one, if you like Crystal Skull, especially, right? If those are the films you enjoy, then Fountain of Youth is going to be your jam. You're going to love it, right? You're going to love it. This globe-trotting adventure, It's a little long. I don't think it needs to be just over 2 hours, but it is what it is. But yeah. So that's why I say it all depends on the type of film you enjoy. Right? Now, it's an Apple feature. So if you've got Apple TV, you will be able to watch Fountain of Youth from Friday the 23rd. But yeah, if you don't have Apple, you won't be able to watch it, unfortunately, people. Yeah, the acting is good. The acting is fine. Right? The only acting that is a bit like, is I mean, it's Thomas, right? It's the kid. But to be fair, they don't really give Benjamin Chives Shivers even a lot to play with. You know? And anything else, any of the other, I think, situations where you're like, that's not great. I think it's more down to the script than the performances. You know? But yes, Fountain of Youth, Friday the 23rd. It's out, but consider the type of films you enjoy, because that will play into whether this will be a film for you. Fountain of Youth.